Shalom is trying to make another quick live, Yeah, come on in. And this live is going to be about America being too divided to stand trial, being too divided to stand. Now, if you're from America, hell, even if you're probably not, but definitely if you're from America or you stay, or if you might live abroad and you stay uh, well informed and stay up to date to what's going on in America, especially the past 5 years of the political climate um, when it comes to things of course, things that I'm for, LGBT rights, uh, race, gender, the economy, etc., etc., etc. Now we have, immigration, legal immigrants, the Texas border, Texas, other states, a lot of southern states, red states versus blue states regarding illegal immigration. The things that's happened with that seem like certain people from the left are waking up to like, you know what? Or in those states are like, you know what? Yeah, we made a mistake doing this. And hopefully that certain red states will look at that and say, maybe we made a mistake of banning things as LGBT. All right, just because you have one extreme doesn't mean that's everybody or everybody should suffer because of what certain people in these LGBT groups organizations do. But anyway, I just want to say that what we're seeing right now is something that is similar to the 1800s. You've had secessionist states, and there's talk of that now. Hell, they even probably got a movie, I believe, about it now, right? So, excuse me. So, but I'm probably not going to watch that movie because even though, like I said, America has its issues, I still feel like it's still, you call it Babylon, you call it Rome, you call it whatever, right? I still feel like there's still hope here. As long as God's chosen people here, who are the Black and original Seminole Native American Indians, are here in this land, that there's still hope, all right, for this land, okay, uh, to kind of go forward to where it was and to where it could be, because the past, the present, and the future is one and the same. For those who know, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Everything is everything, right? That yeah, we're having a lot of these things going on in the country right now, and it seems like, as the saying goes, two can't. In the Bible say, two can't walk together unless they be agreed, right? Let's have an agreement. Let's say be agreed. So we have different states, many states who can't see eye to eye on a lot of important issues, and even you could say some even minor issues, right? This side believe that they stuff don't stink. You got the other side who believe that their stuff don't stink, right? You know, they might be right on this part, but they don't think they're wrong in another part. You got people who might be right on this part, but don't think they're wrong in another part, right? And that's going to cause a lot of, they can't agree on how to deal with a legal immigrant that's, who has committed crimes. You got prosecutors holding them, saying, "No, we're not going to turn them over," and the other one's like, "Hey, well, give them over." The other one let them go. We have all these things, so you shouldn't deport them. You should just set up extraditing them back. We'll keep them, and even though things like that were happening before, it's becoming a public stunt in a sense, right? It's like, oh yeah, with uh, political circuits, basically. And when it comes to people's life, even though one might be right regarding how if you let this illegal immigrant, I believe they're illegal immigrant, back to another state, that it can cause some problems. That is true. But the right thing to do would be to not let them in anyway, which, and especially my state where I'm in, should have never let them go. But then you have people from one party who believe a certain thing, and they in the state that says another thing, and then you got people there who say another. And while that is good, if it don't line up to those key elements and issues that ones can't agree on, then that's a problem. Okay, that's going to cause it's causing a major problems, right? Okay, let me try to get. Okay, so it's causing major problems because you got one side who can agree on what's this, what's that, what do we do with this, what do we do with that. They want to blame this one, the other want to blame that side, the blue want to blame the red states want to blame the blue, etc., etc. Instead of coming together and finding some kind of common ground, like, okay, I don't have to fully accept a rainbow flag, but I could say, you know what, yeah, this is public separation between church and state. So let's not try to go that hard. Like, okay, they can still be able to exist. Just try to find some kind of common ground, and then to become closer. But when you have a certain party that has become not all of it, but a good amount of it has become infiltrated with a certain foreign ideology that's not even a liberal American mindset. It is on some Marxist type stuff. And at this point, what I'm seeing, like I'm hearing, both parties are about to be infiltrated. They're about to be paid off. So you got a lot of people saying, "Hey, I'm about to go to the other party, man. I'm about to go. I'm probably going to become libertarian." Okay. So yeah, I'm just saying this. When when a place is like this is divided, how can it stand? Who is going to lead? It's like you have two you have two things going on, man. You have two ways of being, one ways of thinking, extremely different ways of thinking, trying to coexist in once, and it just doesn't, and from the outside looking in, it's the perfect, seasoning that another side needs to go and infiltrate, to go in and take over, because you know y'all have tensions, and then we're able to play on those tensions between y'all, and none of the stuff y'all fighting over isn't even going to matter because we're going to take the whole thing over. Okay, so because we're going to come in and take the whole thing over. So, but when you play these political games and parties for this long, man, it causes a ripple effect that it could be hard to bounce back from, man. Okay, but I mean everything is seen. Where I'm at, it's, you feel me. In other places, it's probably not like that, and I'm praying that it is like that for everywhere. That it's kind of cool. But then on the flip side, where I'm at, we got issues when it comes to what this governor doing when it comes to trans. I mentioned that before when it comes to trans people, how that affects me being a trans attracted man who's married to a trans woman here in this state. So, but yeah, like I said, it's like people they they're just doing what's in their best interest. They're trying to control people, man. The left, the right, they're trying to control people there because you have elitists in both groups, man. And to me, both of them really don't care. You got people who feel like people have too many freedoms when it comes to the First Amendment and your Second Amendment, and they try to capitalize on that. But the Republican Party do it too, and they try to I mean not cap, they try to cap down on it. They try to hinder you from that. They try to take away that from you, right? They try to infringe on that. So when it comes to the right, oh yeah, you can have his guns, you can do this, all that, but when it comes to things like marriage, abortion, who you're laying down with, they want to be all in your business. It's like, or how you identify, they want to be all in your business. And people got to see that it's just a small fraction of what they want to really do. So when it's like, okay, you can't do this if you change your name, you got to match this, that, and then it goes, it happened right here in my state. It was all about children. Well, we're not trying to deny people from being trans and this, that, and other. We just want to keep the children safe. Look where we at now. Now it's about your ID. Adults ID. I thought it was about keeping children safe. So what? So we got, yeah, man. We got some 4 years. The next 4 years, man. We got time to go, man. We got a ways to go. But in the meantime, with all this political, juggernaut and fighting and battling going on, all this politics and politricks, poly meaning many ticks, politics, sucking the blood of the people. You have people out here suffering. Okay, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to housing. But like I said, God gonna take care of the Most High God gonna take care of His people. So I'm not really worried about that, but just being prepared, being alert or being woke, right? I mean, and that's the thing too. I can't stand by the Republican Party, even though I like. I'm more of a conservative, in certain ways, but I'm definitely not no Republican, whatever. This thing of being woke, man. They took our lingo. I think I did make a video about that, how they took our lingo. But just woke just meant that you're aware of certain things that the other side is doing and not telling you. You're enlightening other people on that, or you're informing other people on that. That's basically what just being woke really means. It doesn't mean that you are a left or liberal wing, whatever. It doesn't, mean that. But anyway, so it just means that you're. I mean, before they made woke to be such a bad or left thing or whatever, woke just meant that. I mean, even when it comes like the two-way Second Amendment, you informing people on how that works. That's anyway. I want to say like stuff like that. Is so divided, man. It's so divided. Um, you got one side looking at this, they hear this, and they think they hear the Second Amendment. Right? They hear gun. They get scared. They think, oh my God, every man shooting, everybody gonna die. People hear woke from the Republicans. They hear woke, and they imagine, oh my God, they're gonna take the children. They're gonna do this. They're gonna take away our guns. They're gonna take away our First Amendment right. They're gonna take away our Second Amendment right. That's what being woke is, and that's what being a gun owner is. That you're helping the cause of death for many kids. Like both sides, you have this string on both sides, man. Like, and the people with the middle ground can get accused of being on the other side just because they have some kind of they're able to reason and say, what, maybe we probably do need a little bit of that. Maybe we shouldn't go so hard on that. Maybe we are wrong on that. Well, I do agree with them on that aspect. Oh, you might be, and the person, no, I'm not. I'm just, I just agree with them on that particular subject. But if you don't state it, like it become like a game thing, if you don't state exactly like, if you don't mention that and you just mention something that is a more in line with that party, people are going to think, oh, they must be Republican because they said something that only a liberal would say regarding that, right? And they said, no, I'm a Republican. I just agree on that. I'm mention that first, and so it could be this whole thing of friendly fire, crossfire, all this kind of stuff because nobody can sit down. Everything has to be so highly political to the point that nobody can be wrong, bro. Nobody can sit down and say, you know what? I see where you're coming from. You feel me? Um, but they all caught up in their emotions or what they believe to be true, and they don't want to hear nothing else. Like all I know is this. All I know is this. That's from both sides, man. Republicans or Democrats. All I know is this. All I know is this. You know, Democrats going to be more emotional about it, but uh, Republicans going to be more egotistical about it. That's just what. They're going to be more braggadocious and egotistical about it. Either way, they're going to try to shut it off because it doesn't fit their idea of what everybody believes that America is supposed to be. But one thing I think we all should be able to agree on, but it seems like one part don't want to agree to that the Constitution, but not even the Constitution, man. But like I said, 'cause the Constitution doesn't really give us our rights. It basically tells the government what they shouldn't do to our rights and our God-given rights. You know what I mean? That's basically what. So we should be able to agree to say, nah, man, I should be able to go in your house and tell you, man, you can't lay you're a man, you can't lay with another man. Regardless of how the separation of church and state, I believe that's in the writings too. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I believe that's there. So I shouldn't be able to make a law telling you that, hey, you feel me? Your pursuit of happiness ain't really like no, okay. So this based on my belief, or that you have to be Muslim, or you have to be because, like I said, yeah, you can say America was founded upon Christian principles, but it's not a Christian nation. Philadelphia is a prime example. Philadelphia was originally the nation's capital. For those who know, if you know, you know, look it up. And a lot of Islamic writings and teachings is there. Most of the founding people that dealt in Philadelphia, most of the principles and laws there was based straight out of the Quran from Islam, and that's why Philadelphia today, most black people there, like a big Islamic population. Okay, but like I say, if you go into certain groups or orders, that's why I'm gonna say in the video, you don't have to be a Christian to be a part of that group. Uh, all you have to do is believe in the deity and the God, and you have the rights as any other brother, right? In that particular order. And that's kind of what America was based off of that. All right. So out of that, that particular mystery school, that particular fraternity, right? It was built off of that, based off of those teachings and things. So to try to deny people because they don't believe the way that you believe is very, very unfounding fatherish, like, but you can't tell either side that they're wrong. But what I'm gonna say, yeah, too, is like if the country keep going the way that it's going, and they say you got they say that every empire has at least 200 and what 50 years that it's it be at its peak, right, or get its starting point to its peak to its ending. It's last 250 years. They say the next 4 years or so is will be America's 250, if I have it right. So come on, man, come on, like, and a house divided can't stand, man. Like, where did this all this come from? And yeah, like I said before, if he was an American, he was an American. It didn't matter really too much what party he was in. But when people start becoming extreme in these parties, these two-party systems that they leave you with or that they give you, and in worst case scenario, because they all want control. This is what we at now. They give you this two-party system that have become really extreme. But what can happen when both parties feel like they have been played by the elitists in both of their parties, that they wholeheartedly supported. They wholeheartedly was willing to risk their freedom and their money and all this stuff and they trust and to these senators and to these political figures, that when they realize and say, hey man, you effed me, man. I believed in you. I believed that you wouldn't deny me of this God given right. And now I'm sitting here like, hold on. And both of y'all was the blue and the red pill is both a part of the matrix, a matrix within the matrix. Of course, you know the blue is the matrix. That's keeping you in the matrix. The red is supposed to be freeing you and taking you to the real world, but it's really just a realer matrix, which is really a more harsher matrix. And so now you're like, damn, I've been lied to by both sides. Like, yeah, they exposed that, yeah, this right here really isn't real. At least I know that, okay, they informed me on some things that when it comes to the Constitution, it comes to certain rights that now I do know I need to capitalize on, need to understand. But they helped me to that, but at the same time, it was just it was what they call control, controlled opposition. They would just control opposition. So they didn't really have our best interests at heart. And the Matrix movie goes into that. For those who know about Matrix movie series, uh, deals with that, right? And ones who broke it down, that's really what was going on. It was illusion within an illusion. So it really wasn't free. And like I said, if the Republican Party really wanted you to be free, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to children, because like I said, they're using, uh, children. Next thing they've been using. I mean, you're already seeing trying to get rid of Black history right here in this state. Want to get rid of a lot of certain books. And then it was just to get rid of, the whole thing altogether. That's really what it was about. It wasn't about, none of that you thought it was. You thought it was about freedom, justice, and this and the Constitution and all that. Like, yeah. But then come to realize they end up rewriting it. Okay, because they're working together. No matter how bad that they seem like they're against each other, if you really know how, what is it, the world is stage, everybody got to play their part. They working together, man. They working together. It's theatrics. Because if you was really what you claim to be about, certain things you wouldn't do. Okay? Certain things you wouldn't try to deny people love. You know what I'm saying? So if you was really about the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, I'm talking to the Republicans out there, or these red states. If you was really about the 14th Amendment, when it came to the parents being able to decide the discipline and the education and the upbringing of their children, right, of your child, 14th Amendment. But then when it comes to trans children or trans parents of trans children, you deny them of that same right, but you don't see it as such. Somehow the 14th Amendment doesn't have anything to do with it. I guess obviously the 14th Amendment goes out the window, the mentioning of it. Like, aren't we violating their 14th Amendment rights? Because that's their child, so they should be able to however they feel, right? However they want their child to adhere to or not adhere to. That's between the parents. So you're doing the same thing that the other side is doing. See this tit for tat thing, instead of saying, no, what? Even though they doing wrong, I'm not going to violate the Constitution just because of violating the Constitution. If it's violating, it's violating. So I'm not going to blatantly violate it to get back at them because they're doing it. No, I'ma still do right. I'ma still uphold it, no matter if I agree with it or not. Just like I say, they shouldn't have to agree with a parent not allowing their child to be uh, listening to or wanting to be trans or LGBT, but they should respect the parents, role, right? Same thing comes when it comes to the right, to Republicans, conservatives, when it comes to parents of trans children and trans people. All right, that you shouldn't deny them of their rights, of their voice, based off of fears, based off of stuff that doesn't really happen. It doesn't even happen on a large scale, and it really can't really happen on a large scale because it's really not that many trans people, as you know, like only 1% of the population, right? Or 2 or 1% of the U.S. population. So, like I said before, you're making all these laws here in this state where I'm at against trans people, trying to deny trans people, but you say they're only a certain small percent of the U.S. population. So you making all these laws. You said people try to make all these laws to try to fit people who only 1% of the population, but you're making so many laws against people who are only, dare say, 1 or 2% of the U.S. population. Like I say, if somebody is not that big of a threat, right? They're not that big of a threat. So I don't feel the need to spend that much time for them or against them because I'm like, I ain't really that much of them to really be concerned about. Okay, I ain't not really worried about that. What they gonna do with that? Okay. Oh, we gonna hit them with fraud because it don't fit with the shit. Say, oh my goodness, oh, and then too, you can still change, your name and your sex and all. You can still do that. I think it's said, paraphrasing to get legal advice. I'm just, I'm not a lawyer, but I read when it concerning this article concerning this new bill they passed in Florida that you can still do it. I think on your birth certificate, right? And there was another thing documentation you can still do it. I have to look at it again too as well. You can still, so it's like, you know, so why is it fraud to do it on your ID, but it's not fraud to do it on the other legal document? So this legal document, and then it doesn't say too whether you had got your name or I mean your sex, gender marker, all that changed years before, and now you have it on there. Would you be hit with fraud now that you did it years ago before the bill? Like it doesn't say that. So and it's like this mother he don't care for people who could be going. But like I say, you keep doing stuff that will affect people of trans experience, and the Most High God is dealing with this state right here, dealing with this whole kind. Oh yeah, he's dealing with it the right way. Just keep on trying to sabotage God's chosen eunuchs. Okay, because in order for people to get where they at, they need something or someone to push them to be able to say, you know what, never again. Never again. They need something or someone to do something that they believe could never be done, that people thought could never be done. So if it wasn't for, as the governor put it, how we benefited from slavery, if it wasn't for slavery, certain people couldn't believe that a group of people who just came out of slavery was able to build towns that was more affluent, more what better off than the majority of white people, so-called white people. Rosewood, Florida, where the state where I'm at. It was another a city or town in Texas. Of course, everybody know about Black Wall Street. Okay, there were so many other things in place in North Carolina. There were so many other towns where black people, so-called black people who were just yesterday came out of slavery and had their own Wall Streets. Now, how could a people who have been so oppressed be that strong and that strong-willed and minded? Because it wasn't every black person doing it, but like I say, you still had black people who, like I say, who just came out of. And during that time period, segregation was at an all-time high. Without your help, dealing with your hatred was able to prosper. So looking back and say, well, damn, if we did that during that time, what can we do during this time? And that's what y'all afraid of. Because if we did that when all the pressure was on us, imagine what we can do now. When you couldn't go to restaurants and you get kicked out being black. And to so-called black people too, like I said, nation divided, to the so-called black people who still feel like being gay or being trans is bad, you know, I feel like certain people, because you still have people alive today who was doing who lived in the Jim Crow era. So just like you couldn't get certain things because you was so-called black, and no matter what you said, oh, I was born like this, so I can't help this. I'm black, so them treating us bad like this, denying us of certain rights and certain things because of something that we can't help. Now apply that to trans people. Apply that to LGBT. Apply that to the trans to the yeah. Why you will be okay aside with racist white folks or people who are not racist white folks, but they still, will agree or still believe, or you agree with them that denying a trans person a right to uh, use certain things or to be able just to identify, how to identify legally, why that's such a big threat to, I guess, state or national security or to your child or whatever the case may be, right? And I'm not saying, of course, you have people on the left who do some extreme stuff that I don't agree with, right? But that's not everybody. They do, you have ones who have been accused of rape, who have done things that shouldn't be done, or you got people who ain't never took a hormone day in their life, and they competing, with trans women, or they probably not even, I'm competing against cis women, and they're probably not even trans, such and such and such. We'd be here all day. But what I'm getting at is like, trans people are here to stay, and no matter what you do, they're here to stay. It's like so-called black people, no matter what they did, we still here. Now I heard that we went from 13% of the population to 50%, but I never believed that we was really the minority like that. I never really believed that. Hell, and then come to find out, we probably been like 50% the whole time, maybe 40, 50% the whole goddamn time, somewhere around it, right? But we're going to like 15%. That just walking down the street being a so-called black person, how that was so bad. You trying to go to school for other, people who are not your complexion. You was denied that because you wasn't this enough, you wasn't that enough, you was an abomination, you was cursing ham. Oh, I remember my mom, rest in peace, and my aunties and them who still here. They remember said them white folks talking about they didn't want to go to school with black people because they feel like the black gonna rub off on you, then you gonna have black skin. So you better not sit right here in Florida. You better not sit too close to them. They you gonna get black like them. That's gonna rub on you like so. I mean, all kinds of stuff they would say to justify because it made sense during that time why you shouldn't be around black people because they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. They banned marijuana. Reefer Madness. They had a whole campaign, a whole ad thing going on called Reefer Madness. And I think that was more like the 1920s, 30s, where they banned Mary Jane because they felt they was going to make that it made Negroes insane and rape white women. The herb plant, Mary Jane plant, was causing white women to be raped, causing white women to be raped by horny black men. So we need to ban this plant. So they use the black or the xenophobia, racist mindset to make stuff illegal. So nobody gets it. it was first, oh, black people can't give it, keep black people, especially black men, forget it because they're raping white women. Nobody can get it. Same thing with guns. Oh, we got to change these laws so they can't get it. Now you have people who couldn't go get their guns when COVID hit. They was out in the West Coast. They was down with all those gun restricting laws because they thought they was going to only because they looked at themselves as elitists, right? At least they were still over black people. Fast forward, oh, they can't get guns too. Now they talking about coming to other states so they can easily get access to a gun. Because, like I said, as long as it's affecting the group that you think that you're better than, you're all for it until it affects you. So now you're a slave. Now you're being treated just like them. Oh, it was only about black people. Oh, you thought until other black. Oh, you thought it was only about trans people. To my, pro black people, or to my other black people out here who feel like, hey, you thought it was only for trans people. That wouldn't affect you. It's to stop this trans from growing, all this transness from growing. I realized it was starting your growth too. Okay, people had this issue with intersectionality until it actually affects them. There's many examples of it. Over time, like I say, the same laws that people pass to deny and to hurt so-called black people, other people especially, it end up hurting them. I just mentioned the gun control act, NFA, all of that. Seeing now, right? The NRA was one of the main proponents, one of the main, supporters and people who push for that to happen. Okay, remember what happened when the Black Panthers started arming themselves, say, hey, we're not going to be victims of police brutality. What happened? Oh, we got to do something about this. They said, no, we can't have all these black people around here just being able to get access to guns like that, right? So a lot of stuff started, a lot of reform and things happened with gun control. And they use black people to gain control or try to gain control over the populace. So one started, oh man, we got to fight this. Or now can't nobody get a gun. White, black, oh my goodness, everybody got to go through background check. Oh, we got to wait. How many days? 10 days? Oh my goodness. In some states, 10 days. Some states, it's like 3 days. So when it comes to other things that you'll see down the line, oh, we do something about the social media. Oh yeah, let's ban all these apps from the children getting on these apps. Then gonna come the adults have to show their ID and this, that, and then it was all about people not getting access to the real, true information or to alternative media or to the other news and media being able to see, dang, that's what's going on in the UK. I thought guns was the problem, but dang, they trying to ban knives in the UK, so you can't see or know what's going on the outside world. They see how they pulling your leg. You won't have access to that. All right, so but people they can only see they can't see past the hills, they can't see past, they can only, yeah. I mean, you got people who, if you tell them, hey man, it's all there is, man, it's all there is. Ain't nothing beyond that picket fence, beyond that wood and gated fence, man, they gonna think because they can't see, they think that's all there is to it. It's nothing else. Or they never have as much, just like in the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. Will Smith thought he was the only person alive. So he was talking to him, talking to mannequins. He was talking to his dog. He was doing all that because he thought he was the only person that survived that zombie apocalypse, that zombie virus, right? Then come to find out around the end of the movie, it's some more people still left. And I think they want to do part 2 with Michael B. Jordan. I think Michael B. Jordan is going to be in part 2. But in the first one, you're gonna find out, oh yeah, he's not the only one. And he was mad too, yeah, like I'm not the only one. So when people find out that, hey man, they've been lied to, man, this whole thing, they've been controlled. This whole thing was to not to keep them safe or whatever. But yeah, like I say, that's just to keep you believing that this all there is to it, that your way is the right way. Ain't no other way. There's no other way of doing things, and there's no other way of achieving certain things, whatever. there's no, there's no other idea. There's no other, control that other people are trying to do. That or communicate with people from from the outside who are directly affected. Like, hey, I'm letting you know this ain't what you want. You don't want them to come take over your country, man, because we over here starving. You know what I'm saying? We over here jacked up. And you like, oh, for real? And you see them like, hey, yeah, this is the side they ain't showing you. Or they can show you, hey, man, we not over here starving, man. We over here living good. We over here, I don't know what they telling y'all. And you can see, oh, man, they living good. Man, I want to go over there. Oh, my goodness. But if you just let them control social media, you let them control the narrative, you let them control you with these laws and stuff and saying you got to have your IDs where you can't put this or you can't, then eventually you're gonna be their subjects. They just find different avenues to do it, and you got to check that. Say, hey man, is that gonna make me more free, or that gonna make could that end up opening Pandora's box? Could that have a domino effect? Could that have another way of affecting me and other people in ways that I don't see? A lot of times it's going to usually be the latter because they say what people with power want, they want more power. They say well, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So it's a slippery slope because one day, oh, gonna ban this, next they gonna ban that, next they gonna ban this, that, and that, and then like eventually it's such a slow process to the point you're like, well, hold on, I thought it was America. Both people from both sides gonna say, well, hold on, I thought this was America. Hold on. Like, what? I thought this was, people, especially Republican, they go, I thought this was a republic. Hold on. But what your stance? So, hey man, what you doing? What are you doing? Why are you passing that? Or why are you denying us of that? Okay? But they would do it in such a way that if you don't be careful, because you so, like I said, ego driven that you don't see. That's how they playing. But anyway, man, that's kind of where I want to say. We kind of at this thing, end of this seem like, but I feel like it's not the ending; it's a new beginning because either way, I'm just like I say. One of the things I love about America, of course, the freedom of speech and all that, but the fact that you're able to arm yourself, um, man and woman is able to arm themselves. You don't have to go through all these government stuff, or you didn't have to. I mean, it's still not like other countries though, where should not be infringed. And yeah, it's freedom, but you have elitist people who felt like uh, a great amount of elitists in America feel like the people have too much freedom or have too much freedom, and the average citizen of America feel like ones don't have enough freedom. And like I said, who control a lot of the politics, a lot of things in this country? The elitists. So why do we, in a free nation, why do we even have elitists? That's a problem right there. How are we in the free? Because if you have people who in that position, and they never knew what it was like to struggle, they never knew. Then they feel like yeah, the majority of people don't need those kind of things. You don't need that. You don't need this. You don't need that because they don't. They live in a bubble. But for people living in the real world, it's like, hey, yeah, I need that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have no lawyer to speak for me. I can't pay no lawyer to speak for me like you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I don't have a bodyguard to guard me 24 hours like you can afford to and all that kind of stuff. Heck yeah, I don't live in a gated community and all that. So heck yeah, I need that. But they can't see it. They can only see, and people have mentioned that who have interviewed people, and if people know people who come from a well-to-do life, they don't see things the way they see it because, like I said, they had the luxury of being in their own world. Very very few, but I mean, people like go to like an Ivy League and other type of elitists. They don't see it, man. They just can't see it. Okay, and that's just how it is. So It got to be for the people by the people. The average everyday people should be the ones really in power and control because that's how it's supposed to be. Because we're the ones dealing with this stuff every day. They're not dealing with this stuff every day. They go to a better, quiet neighborhood. They can pay for this, pay for that, but it doesn't really affect them like that. But for people who, you know, yeah, like you're affected by it because you can't even buy it. You're affected by it because you can't buy it. And you have people who are begging people for tips because their job is not paying them enough like they should be paying them. And I said, the interesting thing with that, you have the people who need tips begging the people who need the tips is just as much as they do. That's what we're in the country. You got people who begging the average citizen for tips because they need tips from the people who need the tips just as much as they do. All right. That's the reason why most people are not really tipping like that because most people don't really have money. And as soon as they get the money, just like you, oh, I'm out of it again. It's yeah. So instead of going to the begging the elitists, if you're going to a rich neighborhood, yeah, them giving you $20, $50 shouldn't really hurt that much. I mean, because what is $20, $50 to them, right? But they be some of the stingiest people. So instead of what they say like Robin Hood, robbing the rich and give to the poor. So instead of you saying, hey, if I see you pull up, or if I pull up to your driveway, if you do DoorDash, if I pull up to your driveway and you got a mansion, you got 2 or 3 cars, and you got a Bentley or something like that in your driveway, oh, you need to tip me. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to have a tip, okay? But the average, but you don't really know exactly how much somebody really have technically, but yeah, but somebody got some money somewhere. They got the Bentleys and Lamborghinis and stuff like that. Yeah, they should be tipping. Okay, especially if they get a little small order or something like that. Yeah, yeah, you should maybe require them, but that's a whole time of thing. I mean, really, nobody should really have to tip anybody. Tipping is optional. Last time I checked, and I understand that people who do that kind of line of work don't get really paid that much, but that's not the person thing is to do is to pay you for what they paid you to do. You know, and that was for that service. Like, okay, I'm paying you to deliver my item. I'm not paying you for outside of that. You know, that's what the person is paying. They're paying you for that service. So as long as you're getting that service, if that's how much it costs to get that service, that's just how much it costs. And that's not the customer's fault that you only getting, $9 or you only getting $1, you only get whatever at the end of that, day or whatever you gonna make a week or whatever. That's the people who employ you and pay you and how much it's you feel me? Like that shouldn't be up to the common man and woman. It should be up to these elitist organizations and groups that pay people what they should be paid, but they don't want that because they want you to be down. The common man and woman don't necessarily want you to be struggling out here, but the elitists in these companies want you to be. Yeah, they want to pay you scraps. Then they run out here talking about getting robots in these restaurants. Y'all probably saw that clip. Got the in there. But anyway, so it's a whole, like I said, a whole lot of stuff going on right now. Oh, the AI taking the jobs, from the illegal immigrants taking the job. They doing this, doing a lot of stuff. So when you got all this stuff going on, man, uh, it's good, but it ain't good at the same time because either way, that ones have made it before when it seemed like it was the end, and one's still here, and she's gonna be here after this too. Just a new heaven, a new earth, a new way after. But one have to be destroyed for another to keep going. I mean, for the other one to grow, to be born and grow. All right. So yeah, this is James Speed, man. Is all I want to say. Y'all be good. Shalom and peace. And thank you for tuning in.